All right, Ron, congrats on the win. What'd you tell the team after this one?
I'll tell them it was well earned. We talked about it. Again, the biggest thing more than anything else is, your reputation, your record. When you get on the field, those things don't matter. What matters is who plays the best. And I thought our guys played pretty doggone good today.
Hey, Ron,
Ron, what do you?
Ron, how does this win rank with some of the other games you've coached throughout there, given the situation down 14-0, no Antonio?
It's up there. I mean, and again, in spite of some of the decisions I've made today, they played their asses off. Then this really does rank up there, just because of the fact, who we beat. We beat them in Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Steelers. That's one of the storied franchises as well in this league. So to come in and win, that was big for our guys. I'm real proud of them.
Ron, all season long, your team has been resilient. They've never quit, especially in the second half. Where does that come from?
Well, that's kind of something that we talk about. We talk about fighting. There's no reason to stop playing. It doesn't matter what the score is. And I just think that's who they are. These are a bunch of young guys that are learning how to play with some veterans sprinkled in there at the right positions. And I think, we're growing and we're learning. We got a ways to go, but I'm very proud of the way they played today.
Hey, Ron, can you go ahead, Nikki?
Ron, what do you make of the way Alex Smith has not only played over the last few weeks, but obviously everything he's overcome and, to deal with another injury out there early in the game? What did you make of his play?
Very proud of him. I mean, again, first of all, this is a heck of a defense we played against today. And he was patient. He took what they were giving us. And that was probably the biggest thing. I really thought Scotty did a nice job with the play calling in terms of, just putting Alex in position to take what they were giving us. And we did. We were very patient. A couple times we took a couple shots, but the biggest thing was we were patient. And that's the most important thing.
Hey, Coach, just curious, what was the mood like in the locker room? What was that? If you can describe what it was like after that win in the locker room.
Euphoria. They really are. I mean, these guys deserve it. That we've been down for such a long time, and we're trying to rebuild ourselves and build up. And this is something that we can build off of. And again, like I said, just really proud of the way they play.
Hey, Ron, you guys.
This season, you've had a tough time, I think, getting the offense going if you didn't have either Terry or Antonio against a really good defense today. You guys did that. What do you attribute that to?
Well, just spreading the ball around. I mean, if you look at, again, all the guys that were targeted, and that's the important thing, is because when you start spreading the ball and stop, and not trying to force it, I think it opens more things up. It opened up a little bit of the running game at times for us at the right time. We spread it around. Cam started making some big plays. We started throwing it underneath, whether we were throwing it to Logan or we were throwing it to one of the backs coming out of the backfield. I mean, when you do that, you give yourself a chance to win because, again, they can't just focus in on one or two guys.
Hey, Ron, you guys, maybe struggled a little bit defensively at times in the first half, but then really cranked it up. What changed? What allowed you guys to pretty much put the clamps on them in the second half?
Well, we didn't give up big plays. If you go back and look at their two scoring drives, they had two really big plays that set it up. And that's something that, that we can't give up. And again, I'll tell you what, though, they bowed their neck and they saved their coach's ass when I thought we had a chance to run a play and sneak one in and they had a guy make a heck of a play on that fourth down, but the defense bowed their neck and saved me. That's for darn sure.
Hey, Ron, what did you make of that fourth down play where you stopped them with Chase Young's tackle?
I just, again, I get it. I mean, the fourth down situations right now, a lot of us are going for it because we know just how important it is to convert, especially when you get, you get in certain positions or certain parts of the field.
Ron, what can you say about your defensive line who may not have gotten home much, but they had their hands up all night? Just how proud are you of that unit?
Oh, very proud of them. It was one of the things that they were talking about with the coaches was getting our hands up. And, he's, I tell you what, Ben's, him firing the ball the way he did, that's going to be tough to sack him.
Ron, when you lose a playmaker early like Gibson, and at the very beginning of the game, that could be deflating, and yet it didn't seem like that really.
I think because we have more than one playmaker, and so it sure is deflating. But when you got J.D. McKissick and and Peyton Barber, who really are a good 1-2 tandem as well. There's nothing wrong with that. You got the receivers you got that are making plays. There's nothing wrong with that. And then the tight end steps up and makes some big plays. So, there was a lot of pluses, a lot of positives in today's game.
Ron, speaking of the big plays from the tight end, Logan Thomas obviously had the one-handed catch. He had the almost touchdown. Then he has the touchdown. Cam Sims, I guess, can you sort of speak to the effort that he had in this game and as well as Cam Sims?
Logan just continues to grow. I know Pete Haynard really felt that this was a guy that was on the verge of taking the next step. And so when we got him in free agency, it was one of those things, that Coach Pete just felt, hey, here's a guy that we can develop and help him get better, and he sure has, and he's fitting in our offense and just doing a heck of a job.
Ron, are you surprised? Having said that, are you surprised by how effective he is, even despite what you said?
Well, I think what's interesting is when you go back and you watch his tape, it was like, gosh, he really doesn't get a lot of opportunities, but when he's had opportunities, he's done well. So, it's good to see. To a degree, I'm surprised, but also I'm not, because he has a skill set. I mean, he's got the size, the speed, the strength. He's got great hands, and he knows the game. I mean, he understands the game, and that's very important.
Ron, I saw you congratulating your guys at the end, kind of down there by the end zone. Is that something you normally would do after a big win, or kind of what was going through your mind there?
No, I wanted to. Usually, I come in and collect my thoughts, and I wanted to greet everybody as they were coming in. I mean, they earned it. I mean, they really, and just very proud of what they did today.
Hey, Ron, a lot of guys made, obviously key individual plays, but Dustin Hopkins is a guy who's, kind of struggled at times this year. What does this say? I think he was 3 for 3 today about his performance overall.
And last week he was perfect too. So knock on wood, it continues. And again, sometimes you get into a little bit of slip. He's worked his way out of it. And he's been solid. He really has, and just real happy with what he did. Again, working himself through his situation, and it was a tough field to kick off of today too.
Hey, Ron, what did the doctor tell you about Antonio Gibson?
What's my thought on Antonio? Well, we'll see what happens. I'm not quite sure. I haven't talked to the trainers about anybody right now, but I'm about to go in and find out what the situation is.
Ron, what did you see on the interception with Sweat getting his hands up and making the play there?
Well, just really that was it. I mean, we were having a tough time getting to the quarterback, so we tried to get as big a surge as we can so we can get our hands up and into the throwing lane. And really that was one of the things that they started talking about doing was, just get the surge and get your hands up.
Ron, what do you think? Scoreboard watching yesterday, and you saw the Giants beat Seattle, and obviously you probably understood this was a game you probably had to have to keep pace. I guess the big picture here, NFC East, what's a win like this do going forward with the Giants right there as well?
Well, it's awesome. It's interesting because one of the things we talked about was taking care of our business, and we'll worry about what we need to do as opposed to worry about everybody else. And I think that's the thing, is we got to continue to focus on us and just work and getting better. So I was real pleased with the way they played.
Ron, I asked you earlier this week about what it would take to come into Heinz Field and win here, especially since Washington's never done so. And also they've never beaten Mike Tomlin since he took over as a coach. I mean, can you just remark on the historical nature of the win here as well, too?
Well, it's big. And I think that's something the guys should be proud of. They earn that because, this is a good football team. And we're learning, growing, and getting better and better every day, every time we get on the football field. So just happy with it. Historically, yeah, it kind of gets the, gets the grill off our back. It just shows us that we have the ability to play against good teams if we play our game, if we focus in on what we're capable of doing.
Hey, Ron, in 2019, Ron, or 2018, I think, you had that speech at halftime against the Steelers with All Access. But you said that you told your team then that you needed to challenge them, and that teams like the Steelers kind of try and punch you in the mouth. I mean, did you feel that happening here?
Yeah, I did. There were a couple things that went on the field with our guys that they didn't take it. This is a team that comes in and they're physical play, and they play to intimidate you. And I told our guys, hey, we got to bow our necks. We got to stand up to them. We just don't take it. And let's match them. I mean, that's how you play these good teams. You try to play their game, and if you can do it successfully, you have a chance to win. And that's what our guys did. They gave themselves a chance.
We'll take 3 more.
Hey, Ron, I know you have a lot of season still to play, but what's happened over the last 3 weeks, culminating in today, as you say, the team has been growing. I mean, how gratifying is that for you personally with COVID, with your health struggle. I mean, just everything that's gone on to have a win like this today, what you've been building towards. Can you put that into words?
It shows that we have the potential. It shows that we have the kind of players you need to give yourself a chance to win. And I think we've got a good mix going right now. We got to continue to build off of it.
Can you take us through the end of the first half? Looked like Alex Smith had some blood on his foot. Did you get a report on that? And then how important that sequence was to get 3 points before you went to the locker room?
What's interesting is there's a little bit of a stat, and this is why people defer. And the stat base says if you can score going into halftime and score coming out, you increase your opportunities to win by about 70%. And we did that. We kicked the field goal, and then we turned around and scored a touchdown. So there was 10 points, two consecutive possessions, and that's huge. And that was one of the things, use timeouts to conserve time just before the half, and we were able to put ourselves in position to kick the field goal, and that was big because it gave us some momentum going in. The offense felt pretty good about themselves. Scotty talked to them and told them, hey, this is what we're going to do to get after them, and that was good to see.
Ron,
Ron, you said that we were going to learn something about this team based on how they performed against the Steelers. This is the first one you guys have against a winning team. What do you feel like people have learned about your football team from this victory?
I think they learned that our guys can be resilient, first of all, which we've seen. Secondly, I think it showed that we can play, with teams like Pittsburgh. We've got to be able to, make sure we understand that we're capable of it. And I think it tells, the other teams that, hey, we're pretty good. We got some guys that can play, and, we've got to go out and just do our thing.
We got time for one more.
Hey, Ron, I know the question came up about the blood on Alex Smith. Did you get a chance to see that? And if you did, what was your reaction to that?
No, I didn't. I haven't talked to the trainer. I'm going to assume he might have gotten stepped on or scratched or something like that. And he's probably, I know he came in at halftime and got it cleaned up, but I didn't talk to anybody about it yet.